Children, have you ever met the bogeyman before? No, of course you haven't, for you're much too good, I'm sure. Don't you be afraid of him if he should visit you.
Make sure you have
He's a
like
great big coward,
a place
so
to
I'll
set a
tell you
fire
what to
so
do.
you can burn
Okay.
all of that stuff, especially all the fleshy bits and like the organs, because
Yeah.
that's going to be the dead giveaway, and where really
Right,
all the
dead
DNA.
giveaway.
Hello! Welcome to It Hails from the Crypt. I'm your co-host Fred, and I'm joined by my co-host
Tim. Should we give our last names? We keep being mysterious with it. I love it though.
Oh, I think we gave our last names the other time.
Yeah.
We go back and forth.
All right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Well, you guys can do the research. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about the episodes of Tales from the Crypt, newly released on Shudder as of a month or so ago. And we're going through each episode one by one and discussing the comic that was adapted into the television episode from the 1989 to 1994 series.
And we're on today to episode 6, Collection Completed.
Oh, yeah.
This is a pretty fun episode. It originally aired as the final episode of the first season on June 28th, 1989.
Short season, 6 episodes.
Yeah, very short season. And because they aired 3 episodes at once for the premiere, it was pretty much all done in June. They started, I think the first episode aired at the beginning of June, and the last episode of the season aired at almost the end of June. So very quick.
Summer scares.
Summer scares.
I don't know if they use that in their ads, but they should have.
Definitely. But before we get into the episode, let's talk about the original comic that this was based on, which appeared in Vault of Horror 25 from 1952 and was written by Bill Gaines and Al Feldstein and drawn by the great Ghastly, a.k.a. Graham Ingels, who, what do you think of this artwork from the very first page on?
Oh, I clipped it out for discussion because, first of all, is this the first time we've done a comic that had the Old Witch featured as our sort of narrator?
Yes, this is the first of the Old Witch. Usually she's getting bagged on by the other hosts.
The Vault Keeper and the
Vault Keeper especially.
Yeah. But here she is, like, pulling her eyeball out, like, grabbing it and yanking it.
Yes. So Graham Ingels, this was his signature character, like how some of the artists had their person. He really gravitated towards the Old Witch and really designed her to be his own thing. Graham was born in 1915 in Cincinnati, Ohio. His dad died when he was 14, and that's when he had to start working during the Great Depression. He got married at age 20 and then went to war, World War II, like most people.
Oh, man.
Did
he fight the Jerrys?
He ended up, actually, they found he was such a good illustrator. He basically was transferred out of combat duty into doing like illustration and mural work for the Navy, I believe. And so
that's kind of cool.
He did that during the war.
So he would have drawn Captain America for sort of, to get people inspired, or was he more army? You're just nodding at me.
No. No, these would be
Comic
like
artist?
official. These would be official art for the armed services. Captain America was created by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, and was like.
Oh yeah, no, I was just creating a multiverse for him to have done that. Like, should they go back and redo Captain America?
Yeah, he would be in the background. He'd be in the background, like painting a ship or something. Yeah. So he gets out of the Army or the Navy, I think, and then gets into comics out of illustration. And he did a lot of Western comics and was the first guy to hire Frank Frazetta. He was the first guy to discover that guy.
Every D&D fans.
The definitive fantasy artist, Frank Frazetta.
Deathstalker? Wait, what's the famous piece of art? Is it Deathstalker? It's Death Dealer.
The Death Dealer with the big axe.
Death Dealer, sorry. Yeah.
He got hired on to EC Comics and drew a title called Gunfighter for them originally. And then at a certain point, they changed Gunfighter and turned it into The Haunt of Fear. And so they brought him on to The Haunt of Fear. And that's where they discovered, this guy was sort of made to draw horror comic books because his illustrations are really like his moniker. He would not put his real name on the comics. He was a very devout Catholic, and I think was a little conflicted about doing horror comics. And so his nom de plume was Ghastly on all of his comics, which it is here.
Yeah, this old witch, though, is just so awesome.
All this line work, I mean, really influenced a lot of artists to come after him, especially Bernie Wrightson, I think, was really influenced by this guy.
Who's Bernie Wrightson? What?
Bernie Wrightson is most famous for doing the Frankenstein illustrations that inspired Guillermo del Toro's latest version. He also did the graphic novel adaptation of Creepshow and did the Cycle of the Werewolf illustrations and the illustrations for The Stand.
Stephen King.
Yeah. So big guy in the horror comics. Also like Swamp Thing, like co-created Swamp Thing. So big Bernie Wrightson's a huge giant and was definitely influenced by Graham Ingels, who was a really tortured guy. He was had a lot of demons in him. He was a kind of a terrible alcoholic. Bill Gaines said he would disappear and they wouldn't see him, but he was routinely listed as the favorite EC Comics artist. Whenever fans would do polls, he was the famous one. Crazily, after the Senate committee and when EC Comics was sort of banned, he had a lot of trouble finding work because his work was so identified with horror, and suddenly horror comics weren't around.
Right.
People really didn't know where to put him. He ended up doing some comics for the Catholic Church, ironically, a comic called Treasure Chest for the Catholic Church. And then he got out of comics altogether and got into teaching. He was a teacher for the famous artist correspondence course that was famous in the 50s and 60s. And then the crazy thing that happened with him is in 1962, he disappeared and no one could find him. He, like his wife and kids. No. He basically abandoned his family and disappeared.
Oh, no.
Yes. His good friend was the artist we talked about last episode, George Evans, who was the nicest guy at EC Comics. And he was the only person who sort of kept in touch with Ingels and his family. He said Graham was just a horrible alcoholic and it finally just took its toll. And he, in 1962, just did up and left and no one heard from him again until,
and even the public, like here we go.
The public
here we go. I hear the until.
The public until in the 70s, all the kids that were kids reading EC Comics started growing up. People like Stephen King and all the baby boomers, and they started becoming huge fans and having conventions, and there was a resurgence of EC Comics, and they started reprinting the comics. And this guy, Russ Cochran, was sort of the famous person who put these giant red hardcover collections of the EC Comics out. And everyone, when they would get together and Bill Gaines would host these conventions, everyone would be like, we love Graham Ingels. What happened to Graham Ingels? He just disappeared. And they finally tracked him down in 1972 and found him in Florida, where he had relocated and wanted nothing to do with the past with his horror comics. He was like, that was a shameful part of my life. I don't want to talk to this. And they, because they were reprinting
more shameful than leaving your wife and child.
I think he connected the two, conflated the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, they're reprinting the comics, and Bill Gaines is like, we're making money again off of these, and I want to pay you. And Ingels is like, I don't even want payment. Don't contact. And finally, Bill Gaines was, if I don't pay you, it's going to like fuck up my accounting, and I'm not going to be able to like balance my books. So just give me your address, and I'll send you these checks or whatever. So he starts sending them these checks, and that they're not a small amount of money because they're also selling the original art. Unlike a lot of comic publishers from the Golden Age, Bill Gaines saved all the original artwork. Most of the time they would just throw it away, or that people would like use it for something else and draw on the back of it or whatever. But Bill Gaines was such a fan of the art and the artist that he had this huge safe basically full of all the original art. And then fans in the 70s started buying it for hundreds of dollars.
Oh, wow.
At that point, Ingels, he started doing a few commissions because he had moved into just oil painting and was a art teacher. He ended up marrying one of his students and getting sober and did these really elaborate, kind of beautiful, horrifically beautiful paintings of the old witch that I can send you, show you what those look like. But they were really great. He reconciled with his daughter with the help of George Evans, but his son never forgave him for abandoning the family in 1962. He unfortunately got stomach cancer from probably his alcoholism and died in 1991. Fascinating guy. Very trouble.
He got to see his episode.
He did.
Right?
I don't think he
Emmett Walsh.
I don't think he watched any of this stuff. And I think he was kind of ashamed of it, but he was a very tortured guy. I think maybe some of that comes out in his artwork because it is truly, I think he's the most grotesque artist working at EC. Yeah. Like if Johnny Craig and, those guys are on one side, he's on the opposite end of just the most, there's so many lines and like details and grotesque, like just this first image of the old witch is so detailed.
Right.
And gross.
You can see that one tooth.
Yeah. And she's like literally pulling her eye out. Yeah. So we get to this issue. He ended up doing like 101 stories for EC Comics. He did all the covers for the Haunt of Fear from issues 11 through 28. And the Old Witch was really his character that he specialized in and did a lot of her stories, like this one, Collection Completed.
This one's a skin pimpler, she calls it.
Yes, it's not a Yelp yarn. This is a skin pimpler with a spine-tingling finish.
Yeah. Or lack of spine.
Yes. And every image here is sort of grotesque. Like, I think every panel...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, every image of the husband and wife, just their faces towards one another. These two should not be married. This is not the perfect couple.
He is sort of just terrible from the beginning.
Yeah.
mean. It
Yeah.
opens with her finding a cat and bringing him in, and his first reaction is, Anita, what in blazes are you doing? You know, it is immediately yelling at her for, and it's saying that
For being
his
nice
description
to
is
animals.
that he's called Jonah in this one, and they changed the name to Jonas in the TV show, and just talks about how he thought he despised animals, thought they were pests, parasites that leached upon human beings for food and shelter without giving anything in return. Sounds like some people I know.
But it's all about, having a hobby. She takes care of animals, but she's, demanding like, hey, you should get a hobby too, to this guy. And he's, he uses that as a moment to threaten, like, fine, I'll do a hobby. You'll see the hobby I do. And we kind of go right into him just picking up this hobby, which is this is page 2, I think.
Yeah, there's no surprise. He goes right into taxidermy, and it seems like the most mean-spirited thing you could possibly do.
Spite hobby.
Yeah, spite hobby. He's just terrible guy.
Yeah, we do have Mew Mew in here. Mew Mew the cat, who we'll see Mew Mew the cat make an appearance in the live action as well. But yeah, he just says he's got his cellar and his secret hideaway, and it's like he just is taunting her the whole time.
He not just taunting, he seems to be like genuinely torturing his wife from the first panel we see him on. That seems like his whole reason for being is just like gleefully, sadistically torturing his wife.
And the sort of dialogue bubbles are kind of interesting too, because like the one where he is basically talking about his first victim, which is going to be a mouse that's running through the walls. Sort of the sort of dialogue bubbles all like wavy. And he's like, that mouse we hear at night running through the walls, and then she's like, the poor thing, I leave little cheese for it to nibble on. And that he just takes that to kind of just keep digging that knife into her. That's going to be my first specimen. See? A trap. This will catch him without squashing him.
On this page 4, where he starts his spite hobby and then ends with, I'm going to work now, Anita. When I come home, I'm going to stuff him. You'd better not let him go if you know what's good for you.
Yeah. Oh.
And then this is the first time I think we've encountered one of the hosts interjecting in the middle of a story.
Yes. The interlude, the old witch.
Yeah, the witch comes back, but Donna did leave the mouse in the trap all day. Anita had to take her kitten and run out of the house because she couldn't stand the poor thing squealing. This sounds awful.
This is some psyops. Yeah. This is horrible. And then when we come back to him, he is reading from the taxidermy manual to really dig in at Anita. And where he's like, listen to this, Anita. You slit the animal to be stuffed from a point between the front legs to the rear. Work the skin down each side of the body, cutting away the flesh close to the skin. Then...
You're disgusting! And runs out of the room.
And then he keeps going. Listen, the tail is removed in one piece by pulling it from the skin. Like just this enthusiastic student of taxidermy torturing his wife with the book.
Again, just another awful person in EC Comics, just specializes in highlighting terrible people. And the expressions on his face in that second panel, and then on the third panel, a monster. He looks like
the My Pillow guy, kind of.
He kind of looks like My Pillow. He reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, we talked about Bernie Wrightson doing the illustrations for The Stand. Did you ever have that edition?
Mm-hmm. I didn't, but I read the book.
The book, the anniversary, when he released like that 1,000 page version, it came with illustrations that were done by Bernie Wrightson. And one of them was a giant bloated corpse that was scene in New York. And that's what he looks like. I feel like in all of this is he looks like this giant bloated corpse through the entire issue, let alone what happens to him at the end of the issue.
She yells, "You're disgusting," and he keeps reading, and then she leaves the room, and he's like, "Good night, Anita." These two should not be married at all.
He shouldn't be married to anybody. He's like a monster. And she's just a nice lady who takes in stray animals. Like, what?
Exactly. She's just being tortured. And then we have the moment where Jonah comes up to show his sort of work in progress of a mouse tacked to a board. We've got that sort of like mortuary vibe coming from someone who's being checked out. Insides.
I finished, Anita. What did you think? I hate you. I hate you.
I mean, it's good. We only have 7 pages. It just cuts to the chase.
Yeah, it's kind of just a montage of all the animals he's killing, which is, this is the whole story, is just watching this guy do worse and worse things to animals.
Yeah, with the goal of the fact that he's trying to collect, because they live in the city, it's all city animals, like a blue jay, a mouse, a cat, a squirrel, a chipmunk is kind of where he's like, his collection is kind of going for.
Until finally he gets a dog. What are you doing with that dog, Jonah? Didn't have a collar on it. It's a stray. It's tough building up a collection when you live in a city. And then there's just like this terrible view of his basement with knives and skulls and poison and rats
in the foreground. And we got that mouse that's on his display diorama situation. And she again, "I hate you. Leave me alone. Leave me alone."
Yes. After the old witch lists all the animals that he's done, where soon he had 1 mouse, 1 rat, 1 blue jay, 1 robin, 1 sparrow, 2 pigeons, 1 squirrel, and 1 dog.
I mean, do you think they're going to bed in the same room each night after they have these outbursts?
I do not know what's going on with their life, but I'm glad they are a childless couple.
But then we get to sort of the crescendo here. It's a pretty simple story.
What do you think about the name of a cat, Mew Mew, by the way? What is going on there?
I thought that sounded more like a Pokemon, but there's like Mewtwo.
There's Mewtwo in Pokemon.
But I do appreciate that when we get to the adaptation, they retain Mew Mew, the cat, as a central figure.
Yes, I think that kind of name, not to throw aspersion, I don't know, but it sort of indicates how infantile she is. Like, it sounds like the name that a 3-year-old would come up
child
with. Yes.
Yeah.
Not
this
like
is my doggy Woof Woof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think gives you the indications there, and then the TV show kind of runs with that, I think. But
yeah.
Anyway, the name struck me even in the comic as like, what? Who names their cat Mew Mew? I don't know.
Yeah. And I think, again, when we get to the episode, it does kind of create a whole world, and the animals all have identities that you don't really get to experience in this one, where it's just a guy collecting city critters that he wants to turn into a collection.
Yeah, it's just torturing his wife with taxidermy. It's just like, hey, look what I'm doing now. Look at this, Anita.
It all started because she demanded I have a hobby.
Yeah, it's just pissed about like saying that I have too much free time on my hand. By the way, I love the artwork this on page 6, that lighting in the second to last panel that puts her in a frame like she's basically a caged animal. There is really great work. And then that very foreboding, dramatic shot from the floor looking up is really great with all the...
She looks Ghastly here. Like she's turned a corner and
Yes.
is, she's knows what she's got to do in order to kind of get back her like agency in this relationship. And it's not going to go well for Jonah.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Jonah finally breaks her and drives her insane. I mean, clearly, like, I don't think she really gets agency back.
Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. I want her, when she made, yeah. I mean, she's broken. I like that she makes the decision to, alter the course of her life, at least for the better.
With murder, which is, yeah. But really, look how gross, like, the cat is, and Jonah, that's,
Yeah.
He completes his collection by killing the cat. It's like all the animals in a city, I guess you could find, he ends with that. But that's where the story gets the title. See, now I have a complete collection, all the animals found in a city, all stuffed. And her response is, not all, Jonah. You forgot one type of animal. Anita, put down that knife. You couldn't. Couldn't I, Jonah? Couldn't I?
That's a sharp knife too.
Yes. Yeah. It must be a skinning knife.
Yeah.
Right. And
you would know.
And then Jonah is left with his fate. There you go.
And I guess his head's like on a post or something. It's not like right? Is that what's going on? It's got
it's like propped
under
up.
his chin.
Yeah, it's like propping him up. There's, an unnamed neighbor in silhouette there at the top of the stairs that.
Oh, we'll get that neighbor character in the show too.
Yeah, so they expand that out as we get a pretty graphic description by the old witch about what's been done to Jonah, and then that eventually she's discovered by a neighbor, because he says, I'm not sure. I think it was a neighbor who found them. Anita is sitting on the floor, babbling incoherently. Look at her face here. Like, it's
her face here is
crazy, insane.
And she's still got
her eyes going every which way. Yeah.
Yeah.
The stuffed form of Mew Mew in her arms, stroking it gently. Jonas stood above them, so that the wooden prop, I guess, is propping up his body to make him stand. Anita's job had been crude one here and there. The stitches showed. The glass eyes didn't exactly set right. To a professional taxidermist, it may have been considered a poor job. To Jonah, it didn't matter, for Jonah had been stuffed and mounted.
Oh, justice. Sweet taxidermy justice.
And then we get a lot of puns here by the witch at the end, which is, I'll let you take the lead on those.
Yeah. He goes, yep, Anita completed Jonah's collection for him by making him part of it. Anita may have seemed a bit stuffy to Jonah at times, but in the end, it was he who was the stuffed shirt. Jonah just got under Anita's skin once too often, so she finally got under his. Left him in stitches, too, by the way. If anyone's interested in a mounted human figure, there's a statue of General Jackson in the park. Well, that's enough horsing around. Bye now. Where are we going with the General Jackson?
I have no idea.
Is that like everyone knows General Jackson park figure?
I'm assuming
Stonewall?
It's Stonewall Jackson. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's. I'm not sure what's going on there with the writing.
One for the historians to help us figure out.
We'll ponder that one.
But that collection is completed.
It is. And what a collection it is. What a collection it is.
We have the episode to now discuss.
Interesting adaptation. So we have Mary Lambert directing.
Yes. Pet Sematary, which I think, I have to look at the timeline. Did it come out before or after this?
So Pet Sematary came out in April of the same year. So I'm assuming she's shooting this probably at the time of its release, or maybe a little bit before Pet Sematary comes out. Right? If this is airing in June, schedule wise, she's probably in post-production on Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
Now, this was a big year for Mary Lambert because this is also the year she directed. She comes out of art school originally. She was an abstract painter, actually, first, then got into music videos, and specifically Madonna's music videos. Did, Borderline and some of the very earliest music videos. But this year she did the Like a Prayer music video for Madonna.
Yes, I remember that one.
Which was huge because this was also the year that Madonna signed a big sponsorship deal with Pepsi. And it was supposed to tie in with the Like a Prayer music video and Pepsi. Mary Lambert and Madonna do this video that features Jesus in it being crucified.
And coming to life, right?
Well, he comes off of the cross, and he's an African American man, and that was controversial for some reason too because of racism. But I think that ended up Pepsi sort of cut the deal short. It got a huge press. I think it was the most viewed music video ever at that point. It was huge in 1989. So she does that the same year. She does Pet Sematary, which was made for I think around $11 million and made $54 million. It was the biggest gross that a female director or a woman director had for a horror
My favorite
film.
Stephen King book too.
I think she still has the record for the highest grossing or the biggest return on a horror film of any woman horror director. So she's huge, a good get for Tales of the Crypt. You have this legacy, bring in essentially the new blood of horror is Mary Lambert. Yeah. So Pet Sematary, I think maybe Stephen King's best book. It's certainly one of his most frightening novels.
And I think it comes with as a father, the emotion. I read it as a kid and I read it as an adult. And when I read it as an adult, it hits stronger, obviously, when you have a child. But you really get into the main character's head, and I found a lot of emotional. I was crying reading that book when every thought that he has when his child dies is it's real, and I thought that the adaptation was awesome. I thought it was a great adaptation.
Yeah. So Stephen King wrote the screenplay, was huge at the time. So he had director approval, and actually he was the one who chose Mary Lambert to direct the movie. She had done, I think, one other movie before this, which is a very strange movie called Siesta with Ellen Barkin. Do you know this movie?
Oh, no.
It's Ellen Barkin, Martin Sheen, Gabriel Byrne, Julian Sands.
Solid 80s cast.
It's an insane movie. It opens with Ellen Barkin is what do you call that? What do you call people that jump out of airplanes for fun?
Skydiver?
She's a skydiver who wakes up having skydived in the middle of Mexico somewhere with no memory, wearing this red dress and attached to a parachute. And she's like, where did my life come from? And it is in this crazy.
She's got amnesia.
Yes. It's a very visually stylish movie, which I think was, what Mary Lambert was known for is being very visual director, but is crazy. The movie it's all fractured storytelling, and I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense, but it's fun to look at and bizarre, and Ellen Barkin is Ellen Barkin in it.
Right.
Anyway, she's coming off of Pet Sematary, which becomes a huge, huge hit. She brings on her director of photography from Pet Sematary, Peter Stein, who shot Pet Sematary 1 and 2, which she also did.
Some of those shots of the sister in Pet Sematary are frightening.
There's a lot of frightening imagery in that film.
Oh yeah, the ghost biker that gets killed. Like that movie scared the hell out of me. Yeah.
Yeah. And
She did a great job.
great Fred Gwynn performance, and
Fred
all
Gwynn,
about
sad.
all about animals, which she's and a cat.
Yeah.
Which she's makes her a perfect fit for this episode.
Exactly.
Which Director
casting on this end.
Yes. And it's written by these two guys, the Battle brothers, Randolph Davis and his brother Battle Davis, who one of them is a film editor mostly. He famously edited the Elvira Mistress of the Dark movie.
Okay.
And doesn't really have a lot of other writing credits. And then you have a very strange addition of A. Whitney Brown from Saturday Night Live fame and The Daily Show.
He would always do a weekend update segment on Saturday Night Live, and was, I think, one of the first correspondents for The Daily Show, too.
Yes.
Like, when it first premiered.
Really funny guy. I remember his segments on Saturday Night Live, and they were always funny, and, like, he had, like, a real wit, and a character that he's playing. Very, I think, and kind of responsible for that Daily Show vibe, that that fake news kind of thing that the Daily Show sort of turned into with when Jon Stewart took over.
Don't forget Kilborn. Craig Kilborn is in there somewhere.
Well, Kilborn, when it was Kilborn, it was like a different show. It was like not really a news show. It was more a traditional talk show with him sort of trying to like bring back the vibe of like the Playboy show with Hugh Hefner. Like everything was like leather and like, he would have a cocktail if I remember and stuff like that.
And he was coming off. Was this before ESPN? He was coming off SportsCenter, I believe, right? SportsCenter was kind of like
yeah.
He's one of the cool when all those SportsCenter casters were totally cool, hip, and fun.
Yeah, I think around the same time that they tried to like make Dennis Miller a NFL sportscaster for a little while,
Monday Night Football,
to bring it back to Tales from the Crypt, where because Dennis Miller will later star in Bordello of Blood, which we should get to that. We should do a special episode with Bordello of Blood.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have A. Whitney Brown, who I think makes this a very, very funny episode, and it essentially becomes a sitcom starring, a huge sitcom star, Audra Lindley, who is most famous as Mrs. Roper.
Mrs. Roper. Mm-hmm.
And then,
for those of you who don't remember that there was this show called Three's a Company in the early 80s, late 70s. And
did you just call it Three's a Company? There's a show.
Company, sorry.
There's a show. It's called Three's a Company. It's a star. It's a star to Mario.
This is John Rita.
And the Princess of Peach. He fallen down a lot. Okay. And this also stars the great character actor Emmett Walsh, the best.
Walsh as Jonas.
Yeah, they changed the name from Jonah to Jonas. You notice they do that a lot in these episodes, that they just change a name by one letter. I don't know why they do that.
Isn't Jonas like a kind of a curse on like a boat? Isn't that what you call someone, like a Jonas, or is that a Jonah? I don't know.
That's a Jonah from the Bible. Come on, Tim.
Oh, okay.
You heathen.
Well, then maybe they're referencing the Weezer song "My Name Is Jonas," which would come out 5 years later.
Yeah, they clearly use that time machine to incorporate that. I love that your Weezer fandom is still strong, and all that material is still at your fingertips. For
it is. I grapple with a lot being an OG fan. The day and
because they've changed.
They've changed and gone through a lot. And I remember, sidebar here, going to a Virgin Megastore in 1995, and I saw Matt Sharp, the original bassist, shopping there all by himself, picking out CDs. And I went up to him as like a young Weezer fan, and was like, "Love your music. Just want to say hi." And I think he might have been stoned, but he was really nice. He was incredibly nice to me. And I told him I was a fan of the Rentals too, and he's no longer their bassist, which makes me sad because I got to see him perform with them, and he had an awesome stage presence. And I just want everyone who listens to this podcast to know that.
We'll have to
Go
do
listen to the Rentals too.
This might be a side episode of. Are we still listening to Weezer? That may be our That may be our side podcast. Are we still listening to Weezer?
We'll bring up that Saturday Night Live sketch with Matt Damon and Leslie Jones where they go at it over the Blue Album
over Weezer
versus
yes.
post Weezer.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But Jonas is the name of M. Emmett Walsh, who deserves his own 5 minutes of discussion because of what joy he has brought cinema lovers for generations. I first saw him, I think, in Fletch, where he was the doctor, and he gives Chevy Chase a proctology exam, I believe, and his delivery of his lines is amazing. And then Raising Arizona, where he is the mechanic working with Nicolas Cage's character, and he just in that section of Nicolas Cage's life, and he keeps calling people mother scratchers. This mother scratcher over there said that mother scratcher.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Walsh at that. He's just a great
amazing actor. I think I remember him first from Blade Runner as the lieutenant from Blade Runner who coins the term. Yeah, it's another skin job.
Hey, skin job.
Skin job. There we go.
Taxidermy.
And of course, I think maybe his best role is Blood Simple as the private detective who is the villain. Maybe one of the
saving that one for you.
Thank you.
You can talk about that one.
He's maybe one of the all-time great villains, I think, in cinema in that role. And I used to watch, like everybody growing up in the 80s, Siskel and Ebert, and I think Roger Ebert had a term that he called the Walsh-Stanton rule, which was if Emmett Walsh or Harry Dean Stanton were in a movie, then the movie was not all bad. And it's true. I
think it's accurate.
Yeah, whenever those
Jack
two
Warden
guys.
in there too.
Who?
Yeah.
Jack Warden?
Jack Warden. I love Jack Warden.
Jack Warden's great.
He's got a voice. I liked his voice. But yeah, this week's segment of going down the character actor road. Emmett Walsh I think he has a character actor award that was awarded to him by Harrison Ford.
Oh,
when he got it. I was looking up. It was like 2016 or 2017. But there's some people that have gotten this award, and I don't think it's I don't know how it's sanctioned by an academy or anything like that, but it's just an award for the great character actors of the cinematic world. And he deserved it. And he used to go into a coffee shop in Culver City all the time when I lived there, and he was just the nicest. You could tell he was just a nice guy. So it's so weird for me to rewatch this, and obviously Blood Simple, and to see him in this case comically bad, on purpose. There's a lot of humor to his sort of chewing of scenery, literally at one point when he's pruning. But the obviously Blood Simple, he's a more nuanced villain.
Yeah, and this is a real. I think unlike a lot of the other Tales from the Crypt, this is a very contained episode. It's a very sitcom-like episode. It feels like something that would actually you'd find on Tales from the Dark Side more than Tales from the Crypt for some reason.
And that set is super duper specifically a sitcom set. It's just the backyard main part of the house in the basement, and you could tell the trees are fake. When he starts pruning them, you can almost feel like a PA off screen is holding it up. Yeah,
and then you only have these two characters, and then their neighbor Roy, played by another great character actor, Martin Garner. Yeah.
Martin Garner. I remember him from the Twilight Zone.
Yes, as one of the old guys.
Episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steven Spielberg directed that episode, and he was a nursing home resident who, gets turned back into a child. And yeah, he's just got a face you recognize,
Yeah. I remember him from Barney Miller episodes. He played I used to love Barney Miller, the old sitcom.
Oh, yes.
With Hal Linden as
police
detective.
Watched a lot of it.
Oh my God. Tim.
Ava Goda. Yeah. Ava
Goda's in it. It's terrific. Wojciechowicz is the name of one of the detectives. It's great, but he played about 5 different people. They kept bringing him back as a different character, but he's basically playing the same character. But it was like, what's going on, Mr. Blah, blah, blah this time? And so he was like a familiar regular of, that era of TV television and movies and stuff. So anyway, we start the episode. It seems like very on a dark and stormy night. We're going around the house, seeing all the pets in cages, the aquarium sets, all this stuff.
Those fish in that aquarium are like big mouth bass. Those things are huge. Those aren't like little goldfishes. They are like scuzzy pond fish.
Yeah, and the aquarium is huge. I feel like a significant amount of the production design budget went to this giant ass aquarium that's in the middle of their house.
Yeah.
But
it's a dark and stormy night.
Yeah, and it sets her up as kind of insane from the get-go. Like she's a little off in this, and
she's fantastic in this role. We should give her like her due credit here, because she has always kind of like a wavy voice, a little bit mousy, a little bit creaky, but she totally nails the type of person that would talk to animals as if they were humans.
Right. And so it opens with her preparing for this party. We think she's telling people to get ready for his surprise retirement party in the kitchen.
Talking to the other room. Everybody be quiet.
And then the stray cat shows up, and she picks up the stray cat and slams the door in Emmett Walsh's face. And he is just, I think that's his first line as she opens the door. You slammed the door in my face. He's like sitting there in the rain,
trench coat, hat,
with his box of stuff. Like he's just been, more like he's just been fired more than he was retired.
Yeah, this wasn't a happy retirement. It didn't seem like he was maybe beloved at his work, but
he had gotten the top sales.
It's true.
Sales award 6 years in a row or something, 16 years in a row or something.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that is a gold hammer.
So I love,
as someone who worked at,
I love the discovery. I love the discovery of so he comes home with this box of stuff, and he immediately trips over the cat in this ridiculous fall. And like, what the hell? He falls down, and they're picking up the box that's fallen. And she's like, oh, what's this? Look at this. It's gorgeous. What is it? And she has a great delivery discovering this hammer. And that's what he's been given as his retirement gift.
And
not even a clock.
As someone who worked at Blizzard Entertainment and did 5 years there, I got a sword. So I have a real sword. So should I ever take up taxidermy, I can have that above my workshop. And I have a mug for 2 years. So company gifts are kind of fun. I think a gold hammer is pretty sweet. Thought it was pretty cool.
He's pissed about it. He says it doesn't even tell time, but then later he puts it up, sort of lovingly in his workshop. And of course, this is another, Chekhov's hammer situation where you're like, oh, they're making a big deal of this prop. It's probably going to become important somehow later. But it sets up a totally different dynamic from the comic, in that this guy has been, pushed out of his job and is now he's like had to force to retire from his job.
Yeah, because the only thing he's really known his entire life is his job. It doesn't seem like he even really knows his wife that well.
Yes, that
we'll
becomes
talk about in a later
that
scene.
becomes clear. And then he doesn't want the party. He's pissed that he sits down on a squeaky toy, and he goes to bed. God damn it, I'm going to bed.
Well, I love what his wife says to him, though, when he sits on that chair, though, and sits on the toy. She, defends the cat and says, the cat, no, that's your chair. I don't understand how this happened.
They wouldn't do that. It's not the cat.
Yeah.
And so then we finally go back to the kitchen where the party is, and it's a ridiculous shot of pets in party hats that are getting ready, which again, it's like, how much time did this guy spend at the office? Did he not live? Did he just sleep and have no interaction with his wife? Because clearly he seems like he does not know what's going on in his house. And for many, many years that she has this many pets and is this devoted to her animals, which is totally bizarre. What's been going on in this house for 40 years or however long they've been?
What's so kind of fun about this adaptation is it's totally playing into the sitcom ridiculousness of it, where, you know, this escalation that keeps happening and sending him over the edge to where he will become what the comic has on page 2, we'll see in the last like 2 minutes where he spirals out of control. But it's all the buildup of like his relationship and these animals being more important and better friends to his wife than he ever was.
Right. So, yeah, this is almost like the prequel to the comic story. If you know, it's like, this is what led Jonah or Jonas to become a monster, is like all of this insanity, because she is pretty crazy throughout this.
Yeah, but she's like, it's a quirky
craziness.
It's a positive thing. It's like she's loving and showing love to these animals, and I think she even says like, these animals are my friends.
Yes.
But that next day, first day of retirement, you get a really fun scene where
with the toilet,
you ask, where he is afraid to tell his wife that he needs to take a shit.
Yeah. So how long have they been married, and how have they been using the bathroom? Like, what's been going on in this house?
I mean, that's kind of like the honeymoon phase ends. You still can love someone. It's inevitable that you're going to smell the dirty. You're going to smell that dirty. And the fact that they haven't gotten there yet.
I just want to know how it's been functioning. Like, has he just been going to work and doing it all there? Or like, I guess he sleeps in. So he's been getting up way.
Oh, he didn't sleep in.
This was the first day. Yeah. So he's been getting up way earlier than she has. So my idea
that she takes baths.
My idea is that he's gone from like the crack of dawn till late evening, and he just like probably shuffles in from work and collapses on the bed and has no idea what's been going on with his wife.
Yeah.
Or whatever, for 40 years of marriage or however long they've been married.
47 years was how many years he had at the company. So I'm assuming he was gainfully employed at the time of his marriage, but you know, whatever. But like, it adds to the sitcom element. It is a very good workaround on the adaptation too, to like build this as his character.
It's such a weird scene, them struggling in the bathroom and like hitting heads. It's like almost Three Stooges like, and then he drops his glasses. It's so strange.
Yeah.
You're going to take a bath now?
Yeah, I love it. And then he goes in for breakfast and
is excited
his wife
originally.
Is making a nice steak.
Yes.
I love steak. I love a good steak. I don't really like it in the morning, but you know, whatever. I'll take it.
Hey, steak and eggs. That's a thing.
Steak and eggs. Yeah.
So he thinks he's going to get it's not for him. No.
Jonas. Not for Jonas. He gets oat bran, and I love his reaction to like that, which is like such a, even though he's not a father, but it is a good father, angry old guy thing. What the goddamn hell is going on? That's what he says to this.
Yes. Pretty fantastic.
The crow comes in and he again escalates at the crow. But which is funny because like the crow, I think the crow tapping your window is a harbinger of death, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like a harbinger of death?
Not a good thing. Not a good thing. Yes. Go ahead.
We then meet his neighbor in the next scene.
Who's wearing
he knows he has to get a hobby or do something.
Well, I love that the neighbor's wearing this amazing outfit, the
Very
USA
tracksuit.
Tracksuit that's maybe 2 sizes too small, not hiding anything. And then the first thing he brings over is a giant airplane model. Is this like,
which I love?
Okay.
I used to do that when I was a kid. When I was like 8, I used to build jet models. It was like the greatest thing for me. I loved it. So I'm kind of jealous that he's got a neighbor bringing him model kits to play.
I think this was a more common hobby, like the airplane models. It's maybe morphed into like robots and Gundam stuff maybe now,
miniatures and Warhammer
and
40K.
Warhammer things modern day, but it was like a standard thing. It was like older men make models or trains or something like that. It was like a traditional thing.
Yeah.
My dad tried to get me into model airplanes because he made them as a kid. And he gave me the SR-71 spy plane, the Blackbird, which the X-Men would fly around in as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave that to me one Christmas, and I never opened it. So he wrapped it again and gave it to me for a second Christmas. And I opened it and didn't open it. And then it became a running joke where he would give that to me every year. But he would put like a real gift in there with it. Would just rewrap the same SR-71 every year, and I would get it. I got that probably about 8 or 9 times in a row. I actually,
do you still have it?
After my father passed away, I still had it, and I actually opened it, and I finally put it together.
I was going to say,
and it's in my room at home. At my mother's house, so it's there. And I did kind of a shitty job with it, I guess. I was like, this can't be that hard, and I was like, I don't know how to do it. But
hey, just like we'll find out later with the other Jonas, you don't hit home runs your first at bat.
No. So he's given this model that's like, I guess he's not very happy with Roy suggesting he needs a hobby. This is the first like tidbit of like, I guess, anger or dissatisfaction. It seems like he already has a hobby because he's got a whole like workshop down there. So he's obviously working on stuff.
He's got his pruners. So he takes joy and Roy joins him outside while he aggressively prunes. And they make a joke of this later, which I think is good because like when it first happened, you're like, what the fuck is he doing? He's just there's no artistry to his pruning at all. It's just gut the tree and just leave it to a twig.
Yeah.
Which I'm laughing at, obviously, the whole time.
He's just taking the tree out. And I also was thinking, like, how many of these fake trees did they have and how many takes did they do of him? Because he just, like, obliterates this tree. Like, it's like one...
Yeah.
It's got, like, one branch left at the end of the scene.
And as he's doing this, he's talking about how hobbies are a waste of time. And then the little Jonas, the bulldog, kind of walks in and he calls him a mangy mutt, which I love. Again, this is just Emmett while just chewing the scenery while he's chewing the hedges with his hedge clippers. And then we next get another wife moment with him being fed.
Yes.
And this time, to me, I was like, what's going on, lady? Because she gives him tuna that's real cat food.
Yeah, it's not tuna, it's cat food. And it's also like, oh, that's something an insane person, like that's not normal.
This is when I go like, maybe she's adjusting as well to this new sort of relationship.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to hang out with human beings. Like her only friends are the animals. And that's where we discover that the bulldog who comes in is named after Jonas. And there's an amazing series of sound effects with that dog as it comes in that made me laugh as well.
Like ASMR, like they're like
yeah, it's just ridiculous. And he's like, don't apologize and make it worse by saying you're sorry. Like, yeah, beyond the pale.
Again, later that night, he is coughing and she thinks he has a hairball. And again, that's another like, are you cat or human? And he asks for an aspirin and she delivers an aspirin to him, like as a nice partner in life would do.
But the way that you would give it to an animal, you would wrap it in a treat for him. He's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm not an animal. And then he does say that Elephant Man line. I'm not an animal. I'm a human being. And
I love it. And I love Emmett Walsh just at his wit's end with this relationship and just saying this. I am not an animal. I'm a human being, Anita, human being.
It's great. And the next day he again meets with Roy, the neighbor. And
New
that's where we
tracksuit.
get the new amazing outfit. And that's where we get a sense of what his wife has been like this whole time, because he says,
Yeah, Roy.
Roy's like, well, she has squirrels on her head that she talks to. Like she's, I think, the neighborhood crazy animal lady, like, obviously.
Yeah.
And her husband, Jonah, has no idea, has just been oblivious to this, like, for 40 years.
And Roy's being a good friend here and is like, maybe, and Jonas is expressing his frustrations as well. I mean, Roy's like, maybe you should talk to your wife. Like, that would be a way. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but like, maybe do this and you can find some common ground here. And he actually takes it to heart. So we get some, he goes in to maybe have a conversation with his wife, but he witnesses his wife already apologizing to someone.
What happens in there? What's going on?
She's apologizing to Mew Mew the cat for something, and he watches that happen and is like, no, my wife is crazy. I can't even engage. I cannot engage. So I'm going to go back to pruning and engaging with my prune, my hedges.
Yeah, more of just like destroying something. Like that's my new joy in life, is just destroying something, which then leads him to try to go after the cat with the shears, right? Like there's
the cat knocks over his lemonade.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna kill this flea bitten thing, and he falls into their pond. What is this thing?
Yes, I had questions. Like, this thing was just kind of hidden, this scum pond. It was like in the corner, and it's like shaped like an L. It's not even like a circle, and there's no koi and beauty to it. It's just
never established at all. It's just like all of a sudden there's also this weird pond in this suburban backyard that's makes no sense, that he falls into and is covered in mud.
Tries to get in the shower, but Anita is
put those gigantic
cleaning the
bass in that are swimming around in his feet, and that's kind of the last straw for Jonah, right? That's what breaks him.
Yeah.
Makes him go insane.
But the next day he wakes up happy. He's excited. He's dressed up in his his racetrack hat and his checkered blazer, and he tells his wife he's excited to he's found his hobby, and he slips on a dog bone.
Yep. Now, I don't know if he has the same amount of spite or anger. Like, I don't know if there's as much maliciousness to his behavior from this point on as the comic.
Right.
I get the sense that he just kind of went insane and is oblivious that what he's doing is bad. That's the sense I got from this.
Yeah.
Like the way that Walsh plays it is not like, I'm going to get my revenge on my wife, is more like, oh, this is what I'm going to do, is become a taxidermist and stuff these animals. And why don't you think he
becomes a serial
why don't you think this is great?
Animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's like excited about it. It's not like, that's the sense I got. Maybe
he's not hate screaming to his wife what he's doing. It's more just like, he is finding joy, and we'll talk about that.
But we don't know what he's doing.
We don't know what he's doing, but he's down in that basement, and Roy's over having tea with Anita. I love this. It's almost like he's retired. I don't know. Were they having a thing? Who knows? Could they have had a thing? I don't know. I do like it. They're just out there.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that they would have been better off together than with Jonah, who it still blows my mind that he has no idea what has been going on for 40 years in this house, where you just do not know the person you're married with. That what do they do on the weekends? Is he working on weekends too? I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. He does mention he works 6 days a week though for 47 years.
Oh, okay.
And 52 weeks a year.
Well, there you go.
implying that like he don't
doesn't
take a
even
break.
take Christmas off. Yeah, just
Yeah. But he goes looking for Jonas.
Yeah.
And finds Jonas, I guess, because like later on, she comes down into his workstation and asks where Jonas is, and he says that Jonas is out back.
Yes, and
It's nighttime.
It's not just Jonas back there; it's the dog Jonas, who now has robot eyes, and he's hooked him up to a little RC car remote control.
Yes,
to
the best. And it's
that reveal.
The taxidermy job is so amazingly bad, and those eyes are totally like just Teddy Ruxpin glow eyes. And he's got a RC remote control car that he's gleefully like opening and closing the eyes.
Yes, and she's horrified by this. And he's kind of like amazed. He's like, why are you horrified? I think I've made this better. Like, I think I've made improvements. I feel he's just like oblivious.
He's like he's like, the dog won't get in anyone's way, and it's still a precious dog for you to admire. It's a little bit of column A and column B for what he gets out of what he's trying to say, I think.
Then we go through, and what happens after that?
She just wants to make sure that Mew Mew is okay. You know, Mew Mew is the cat that she rescued at the beginning.
Yeah, so that's a little strange. I know it's consistent with the comic, but wouldn't she care more about the dog that she's had for apparently years than the latest installment? I guess the implication is that Mew Mew is her favorite, even though it's
new favorite,
the most recent addition to the collection.
It's almost like the baby, the latest orphan to join her sort of crew. So I think she's like, "Oh, don't touch that one." Mew Mew is so innocent and pure.
Right.
I named it Mew Mew because it's a childish name.
Right.
And obviously, maybe she's like seeing the stuffed Jonas as like, you know, she named Jonas after her husband. So now maybe just seeing Jonas stuffed is what gets her excited to stuff Jonas later.
Well, right. I mean, she goes crazy when she discovers Mew Mew. That's like in the comic, you know, her brain breaks. She grabs the.
Is Mew Mew?
Yeah.
Well, when she goes back down into the works area in the basement, he's just like fondling the hanging. Is Mew Mew one of them? I thought he was fondling a rabbit, but the way that Walsh is doing this is just like so hilariously creepy, and he describes the joy of the taxidermy that he's found in his new hobby, which is like he even mentions like I chloroform them because the muscle comes off the bone quicker. You're just like, oh jeez, you are a psycho, but a psycho with a hobby.
Anyway, her brain breaks when she sees Mew Mew, grabs the golden hammer that we established from beginning, and kills Jonah. Screen.
Yeah. Off screen, which was good because we didn't really need to see that sequence, did we? Of him being skinned and all that. But maybe we get a great reveal. And Roy gets a great reveal.
Roy does.
Roy and his powder blue leisure suit get a great reveal.
Yeah. What is he wearing? The outfits on this are amazing.
Again, everyone is on the same page with this sitcom world that they're crafting and the outlandishness of it all. So I'm all in.
Yeah. So Roy comes in, takes a look at what's going on, and is horrified to see horrible looking Emmett Walsh with scars and fake eyes placed into it, and then gives this amazing, EC Horror Comics reaction, but it's a silent scream. I wish he had been scream. I feel like they needed a scream, an actual scream.
Yeah.
But he just sort of mouths a scream. We should talk about what Jonah is wearing, because it's a suit.
I wanted to his facial expression. Yeah. He's got the fake eyes, and then he's got the stitching and this suit, which I'll let you describe because it is glorious. Those patterns at Joann's Fabrics must have been fun to pick out.
Yeah, so it's a full-on suit with just animals all over it, and it looks ridiculous. It looks like children's sheets that have been made into a suit.
It's like peach suit with dogs. And
again, I think, if she wasn't insane before, but this is also like what a child would choose to dress their doll in to match with the animals. So the collection is complete with Jonah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jonah's collection is complete. I guess they don't really need to nail it on the head like the comic did with like sort of the collection complete, because the man was the last thing in the city that was part of the collection. It was more just like
they kind of lose
the idea.
Yeah, they kind of lose that whole theme of like because there's no like city really shown.
Yeah,
So
and honestly, don't care. Emma Walsh.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need that.
Lindley doing such a great job, and then Mary Lambert knowing the assignment and sticking to it is great. So overall, a lot of fun. I enjoyed that episode. It's a good one to close out the season with.
Yes, I agree. I think it's one of the more fun episodes. It's very unique.
That was awesome. Hey, 5 stars. And this ends season 1. So when we pick up our next episode, we're going into season 2. Does HBO have more money?
Well, they may have a bigger star in the next episode. That's for sure. One of the biggest.
They are starting to get one of the biggest stars from the era in the next episode, I believe.
Yep.
So I'm excited to.
And Demi Moore. I'm assuming you're talking about Jeffrey Tambor, right?
I am, because I was a huge Mr. Mom fan, and Tambor was a supreme villain in that show, and No, I'm talking about Demi Moore.
Yes, huge star Demi Moore.
We'll talk about that next episode, though, because I'm excited to dig into it.
This episode is brought to you by Anita's Animal Rescue.
I'm Anita, just a local good Samaritan who started my own rescue out of my home after my husband, my neighbor Roy and I started it to rescue cute, pathetic lost animals like our new 3-legged schnauzer, Gerald. Quiet, Mew Mew. Now don't get jealous. What else have we got for you folks? We have birds, lizards, a centipede. We have a raccoon who got in through the ceiling in 2020 during the pandemic. At this point, we consider her staff. We have llamas, emus, a meerkat named Circumstances, because that's how he arrived. We recently took in what we believe is a black bear, though Roy says it's a very large humanoid dog, but I don't believe him. He's more into his model planes. We also have begun accepting what I can only describe as regional entities. For instance, if you're looking for a special new friend who could really use a soft landing, we have something in Jonas's old basement that leaves 15-inch footprints and smells like a pine forest after a hard rain. He's a little shy. Big heart, though. Big heart. He just needs the right home, ideally with a large yard, possibly several acres. And last Tuesday, something with a 10-foot wingspan and red glowing eyes landed on the roof, looking directly at Roy, and he's been locked in his room building an F-14 Tomcat since then. And as a new addition, just today, we have a squonk. I'm calling Jonas too. He has warty skin that doesn't fit him correctly, and he is very aware of this. Say hi to the people at home, Jonas too. Anyway, we are a no-kill shelter. At least so far. Yep, Roy and I are still alive, as is our Lorax Speaker of the Trees. So come on down to Anita's Animal Shelter today and pick up whatever this is.
Anita's Animal Rescue. We take in everything. Everything. Open 7 days a week, or basically whenever a stray lands on our porch.
This is the time when Fred and I jump into our next segment, our final segment of the day, and we share something that this episode may have inspired us to just share to one another, whether it be any form of media. And boy, we can go crazy as we want to be. Are you ready for it? What's the segment called, Fred?
The Vault of More.
More.
Yeah.
Is it M-A-M-O-A-R or M-O-R-E? Because like M-O-A-R is like what the kids say, I think. No.
Yeah, maybe it's both.
Yeah, I think
there you go.
Send us your comments and thoughts on that at hailsfromthecrypt@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
All right, but Baltimore, I think I started off last time, so I'm going to let you go first.
Did you? Okay, I have kind of a...
Did I? I don't know.
I have kind of a doozy here as I creak in my chair. I apologize to the listeners for that.
Oh, yeah. Mine is not a doozy. Mine is, you're going to get in... Mine will explore the psyche of 8-year-old Tim when I reveal what my vault of more is.
Sounds sexy.
It is.
So
Without a doubt.
my recommendation is a movie called The Skeleton of Mrs. Morales from
What?
Mexico, 1960.
My stars.
It's an amazing. The Spanish title is El Esqueleto de la Señora Morales, and it came out in 1960s. It's a dark black comedy based on the Arthur Machen short story from 1927, The Islington Mystery. Now, if you don't know who Arthur Machen is, he was probably the biggest influence on H.P. Lovecraft with his kind of cosmic horror short stories. He did one called The Great God Pan. But
yes, which I've read and I loved it.
Fantastic. One H.P. Lovecraft described it as like the greatest horror short story ever written.
Yes.
But
his stories were adapted into like British Christmas. Yes. Ghost stories? Because he did ghost stories too, right?
He did a lot of ghost stories. But this is kind of a true crime story based on the real crime of Dr. Crippen, the Dr. Crippen case, if you're aware of that. So there's three things I'm sort of recommending here: the actual true crime, the short story, and then this amazing movie.
Sorry. You're recommending the true crime?
I'm recommending you research the true crime because it's bonkers. So the movie itself, I thought of this movie because it's about a husband and wife. The husband is a taxidermist. His wife is a kind of religious zealot who tortures her husband in the neighborhood. And it's this I thought of this with Walsh and Blood Simple because it feels like a Coen Brothers movie, but made in the 1960s Mexico. It takes place in Mexico City. This wife is like torturing her husband, who's sort of like beloved by the neighborhood. He's like, all the kids love him, all the animals love him, surprisingly. He has a giant carrion bird in his basement, and she is like become super religious. So she has this priest over and like is trying to give all of her money to the church, and then is disgusted by his profession. She won't have sex with him anymore, makes him like, you smell like disgusting animals, like, and he comes home from work and is excited to eat this steak that his cook has made for him, and she goes, I'm so disgusted by you eating meat after you like destroying these animals all day, and it makes him like he can't even eat and enjoy his own steak. She pretends, and this is
a job, not a hobby, right?
Yeah, it's a job, and he's supporting her. She also has like one leg is larger than the other, which will come into play with the skeleton, the aforementioned skeleton.
Oh, yes.
She tries to turn him into the pariah of the town by saying like she like beats herself up and then says he's beating me. Gets her wife's husband to come over and threaten him with a gun. Like, you have to like, take better care of your wife and all these things. And
so there's another happy couple.
Another happy couple situation, but he is more the nice guy and she's presented as the like demonic woman. And he's been saving all of his money up for this camera. He finally buys the camera. She goes down and breaks the camera. And that's what is the breaking point for him. And then he, goes to
spoiler,
murders her, and then uses his taxidermy skills to break her down into a skeleton that he then puts on display and sells to the local medical college. And then they notice like, oh wait, this skeleton has a fucked up leg. So it's probably and so he goes on trial for this crime.
We go to a trial. I thought that was the ending because all these Tales from the Crypts would be like, that's the ending.
No, he goes to trial And spoiler alert, just watch the movie. It's fantastic, but spoiler alert, he gets away with it. He gets away with the crime and but then is punished by God at the end. Like it's a great
So she gets it because she had a close relationship with God. So he gets it in the end in a way.
It's a very interesting movie. It's written by the screenwriter who wrote Louis Cons, I think is how you pronounce his name, but he wrote movies for Louis Buñuel, the surrealist filmmaker. And so there is a undercurrent of like subversion of normals and sort of poking fun at the church and like pious people, but then also it comes around. It's like a really fascinating movie. It's one of Guillermo del Toro's favorite films on the list of best Mexican films. It came in as like the 19th best Mexican movie of all time. It's like a very unique, interesting movie. Like I highly recommend it as a film. Now, the original short story by Arthur Machen, he was obsessed by this true crime that happened, Dr. Crippen, this crime happened, and he wrote this short story that is a kind of fake true crime story. He's like, I know you're all familiar with the Dr. Crippen case, but here is another case about this taxidermist who, you know, had this horrible wife that he killed and then got away with murder. The real case, Dr. Crippen, is considered by a lot of people like the first modern true crime case because it was the first case that was sort of solved by radio technology and like the fact that people had wireless radios. So,
really?
Dr. Crippen was this American guy who lived in England, and he had a wife who was a former music hall star. Like she was, and he was a kind of a quack doctor. Like he was a homeopathic doctor who would like, put powders together and like cure
homeopathy.
Yes, would like cure. You know, I have a cure
tonics,
for
a lot of
tonics. Like pour this in your ear and you won't be deaf anymore and all this stuff. Apparently had a sexless relationship with his wife and then started dating his young, I think she was like 19-year-old typist. And I don't think his wife was happy about that. And she suddenly disappears. He tells the neighbors that one story and they don't believe it. So they bring the police and he tells the police a different story that, oh, my wife was also having an affair and she left with this guy. Apparently this was true that she was actually having an affair with someone else.
Oh.
And she left and they searched his house. They don't find her. And, you know, they're like, okay, we believe you. Her sister is very persistent and also knows all the music hall stars and gets publicity about this and is like, she has not absconded with this man. She has like been murdered by her husband. Instead of waiting around for this case to resolve, Dr. Crippen and his new wife abscond to the continent, and he dresses his new wife as a teenage boy, and they get on a ship.
Man.
And
this is 1890 something?
This was, when did this happen? This is like 1910. Okay. So they go search the house 4 times. In the 4th time that they search the house, they dig into the basement and they find the skeletal remains of a body and some flesh left behind. And the piece of flesh has a scar on it. They say a scar that is like, oh, that's identifiable scar that his wife had. We're going to charge him for murder. They use the radio for the first time. The wireless radio is a new invention.
Right.
And put the word out that be on the lookout for this guy and his wife. And they apparently traveled first class on this steamer ship. And because of that, the captain greets all the first class people. And I guess his new wife was kind of too beautiful and shapely to pass as a teenage boy. And so he's immediately like, that's not a teenage boy. That's a beautiful woman. Like, what's going on here? And so he radios that, these people are on board my ship. This Scotland Yard detective gets on a faster ship and sails and meets the ship and arrests Dr. Crippen and goes, basically meets him as he comes off the gangplank and is like, Dr. Crippen, I presume. And Dr. Crippen's like, oh, thank God. I was so worried. I couldn't handle all the anxiousness of not being caught. I'm so glad it's over. Goes back to trial, is found. They're both charged with murder. He professes his innocence the entire time, keeps telling the story. No, my wife, got left with this man. And like, I don't know what this body was. It was probably from the person who owned the house before me, blah, blah, blah. His new wife, but he also says like, but my new wife knew nothing about this. She's acquitted and he is hanged and murdered. Now, cut to 2007. So he's executed in 1910. In 2007, they still have the body of Mrs. Crippen. The bones and remains are kept because it was such a sensational case. Like everyone, it was like the cause celeb.
It's in the Smithsonian?
It was in some creepy British museum. They do a DNA test on the remains. It's a man's body. It was not his wife's body found in there. So we don't know what happened to his wife, if he actually murdered her, and who this body was. They have no idea. So is it the man that his wife was with? That's crazy. Yeah.
And I was just looking at this. Did Eric Larson's do a book?
Yes.
This Thunderstruck? Because I was thinking of like the Lusitania, like the ship, and then like Devil in the White City, and I was like, oh, is that it? And I thought I vaguely remembered that, and that's what Thunderstruck is.
That's what Thunderstruck is.
It's
about.
Not the AC/DC song.
It's not the AC/DC song or the incredible early art / pornographic film Thunderstruck, which I would recommend if you are
a deep pull.
It's one of John Waters' favorite films, and I would.
Oh, really?
I would recommend it if you want something that's just insane, along the lines of Siesta. Anyway, that is my recommendation: is the movie, The Skeleton of Mrs. Morales, but all this other stuff as well. I think is fascinating.
That, spider webbed out into a bunch of other that we can explore, and viewers, listeners can explore as well. Mine's not going to be as amazing of a deep dive as you, but it was a bit of an epiphany for me in the sense that I guess I can thank Mary Lambert for awakening my love of women. Because I didn't know that she directed the video for Material Girl. And I remember, I always love hearing stories where people were like, gay, straight, bi, where like there's something that like was the moment that was captured that they saw, and they're like, I like women, I like men, I'd like this. And for me, as a kid who didn't understand anything and hadn't gone to like a sex education class or anything like that, I remember seeing the music video for Material Girl, and I wasn't even like a huge Madonna fan. I just remember seeing that video like on silent at my uncle's house as a kid and being like, "Buh." I just thought she was gorgeous, and I didn't even know that she was like they were aping the sort of Gentleman Prefers Blondes, Diamonds Are Girl Best Friends song. But I just remember like a light bulb going off in my head as like a 6-7-year-old when that video came out, and going like, I like girls, and finding out that she not only did Pet Sematary, which was like I think my favorite Stephen King adaptation. I think I was just amazed that she directed all these Madonna videos, and so I rewatched the video.
How many times?
Not only
did you have it on repeat?
Just saying no. But there's an opening before the song kicks in that is two fine actors of the day, Keith Carradine and our very own Circus Barker himself, Robert Wall, are talking about the Material Girl in the movie because he's like Mr. Big Shot Hollywood producer who wants to get that girl. And there's a story to the. I'm going to go down to the story here. Listeners can go and watch this themselves and enjoy the song and enjoy the sort of 80s-ness of this sort of crazy romantic comedy that happens between Madonna and Keith Carradine as he tries to use all of his money and power of a big Hollywood big shot producer to try to woo Madonna. But she finds out through the course of the music video that she's just a regular guy. And in the end, Keith Carradine pulls up in that pickup truck, dusty looking, something out of a John Steinbeck novel, woos her off into true love. Yeah. True love is not about money and material stuff.
She wasn't a material girl after all.
She wasn't. That's the story Mary was trying to tell us, Mary and Madonna, in this sort of collaboration. I didn't go down any other Mary Lambert music videos, but that one just felt like a big epiphany for me because I remember just seeing that first as a kid and going gee willikers, methinks I like the ladies and I have Mary Lambert to thank for that. Take that as you will, but and thank you for enjoying sort of this psychological episode of me talking about these moments of my childhood.
I think we've learned a lot about Tim today and what makes Tim tick from model airplanes to the Material Girl music video. We've kind of covered the entire gambit. Along with my insane research-heavy rabbit hole after watching the skeleton of Mrs. Morales again with this and being like, oh, I didn't know it was based on this short story. Oh, I didn't know this short story is based on a true crime. And, oh my God, this true crime thing is an insane story. This could be a whole thing.
There's so many layers here.
Yeah. Now I have to read Thunderstruck.
A Pan's Labyrinth for us.
A Pan's Labyrinth. I should mention, some people have been asking where to or how to read the comics, the original EC comics. And I want to put a shout out to Dark Horse Comics has collected a bunch of the Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, Shock Suspense, and these great hardcover and softcover editions that are the soft covers at least are pretty affordable and a great way to read the comics. And then
I have them.
Yeah, they're good. And then Fantagraphics, another comics company, has put these very prestigious hardcover black and white versions of the EC comics that are sort of curated by the artist. So you'll get one on Graham Ingels that collects just his work, or George Evans, and they have great introductions and afterwards, and that's where I'm getting a lot of the information that I'm sharing with the audience from
that's awesome.
This collection. So 2 great ways to enjoy your Tales from the Crypt experience. There's also in October a giant omnibus coming out of all the Tales from the Crypt comics, which maybe we'll do an episode when that comes out about that. So if you just want the Tales from the Crypt, that comic alone, maybe wait for that to come out. If you want to experience all the other stuff, the Vaults of Horror, the Shock Suspense.
Yeah, the one I have, I think John Carpenter does a forward for.
Yes, they have great.
He's a fan as well, and I'm a big John Carpenter fan.
Who isn't? You gotta love John Carpenter.
Yeah.
So I think the Dark Horse collection have tapped a lot of great people to do their introductions, and the Fantagraphics have leaned heavily onto more like historians and comics museum curators and whatnot to do their stuff. You get kind of two versions of the same material. Right. So it's out there though, so you could enjoy it because those comics are fantastic. I still think they were the height of comic art at the time. Just the best people working.
Yeah.
Much like this podcast, awesome. Which has the
podcast is
best quality host and best material. And if you want
totally
to
know what they're doing,
reach out to them, you can now like and subscribe our YouTube page.
We have a YouTube channel, It Hails from the Crypt, at YouTube. We have an Instagram, It Hails from the Crypt, at Instagram. And then a TikTok, It Hails from the Crypt, which hopefully we're doing a justice and feeding all of these outlets for you to like and listen and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
And you can email us, It Hails from the Crypt at gmail.com if you have any questions or anything you want to tell us.
And apparently,
or 5-star us on whatever we're at.
Yeah, apparently it helps a lot to review, to leave a nice, kind review, or a 5-star review is great for helping people to find us. If you don't like us, please don't leave us a bad review. Just keep that to yourself, or blog about it in your own time. But please don't hurt our show because we're tiny and
please don't.
We're
just, this is not our day job.
Yes, we're not getting paid for this. So please be kind for the free entertainment and not be like, these guys got all these facts wrong. 2 stars. Okay.
They mispronounced this. 2 stars.
Yeah. Sorry.
They flubbed the line.
Really sorry about all the mispronunciations because there's a ton when it comes to me. So there you go.
Well, it's common. Hey, everyone, we enjoyed you being here today. And we love you, and we want to just say we'll see you next time.
But until then, we remain.
We remain
in the crypt. The crypt.
In the crypt.
In the crypt.
We remain in the crypt. That's what we do.
Okay, let's wrap it. All right,
all right, let's wrap it up.
All right, that's it. All right, bye-bye. Goodbye, guys.